Thank you so much. So you remember Richard Dreyfuss, right? The Oscar-winning actor from such classics as American Graffiti, Jaws, and this interview with Bill Maher with him sliding off a chair.
Like in those days of the studios.
When you read Shirley Temple's book.
Who?
Shirley Temple.
Shirley Temple.
When you read her book, you can read between the lines of an enormous
scandal?
A scandal that never unscandalized.
She was abused?
Oh, yeah.
He does not understand chairs. He sits like Alec Baldwin shoots. Too soon, I'm sorry. Anyway, apparently he's pissed off about how mandatory diversity is destroying movies. And this weekend on Firing Line, he slammed new diversity inclusion requirements for films in order to be considered for Academy Awards. It's part of Hollywood's quest for a rainbow of stars who can now slap Chris Rock. Starting in 2024, Best Picture contenders must have at least one of the lead actors or supporting actors from an underreported or unrepresented racial or ethnic group. In other words, that Hitler biopic better have some black Nazis. Yeah. And if it doesn't feature a marginalized group, then the storyline itself must be focused on one like women, LGBTQ, or deaf people. In fact, they already have a movie in the can based on these new rules. It stars Marlee Matlin as Helen Keller, who teaches her black life partner, played by Tracy Morgan, sign language through the art of erotic hand signals. It's called Finger Lickin' Good. Believe me, the original joke was worse. This raises some questions, though. Like, if you hire an actor with one or more underrepresented characteristics, will that help the film company fill more slots? You know, kill 3 birds with one wheelchair-bound Cherokee drag queen named Miss Sitting Bull. Makes sense. Oh, thank you. Of course. Somebody choked over there. This says nothing about the film's quality, which is Dreyfuss's point. I mean, Jaws is awesome, but the only underrepresented character eats people. I wonder if he thinks these new inclusion standards for film make him vomit.
They make me vomit because this is an art form. No one should be telling me as an artist that I have to give in to the latest, most current idea of what morality is. And what are we risking? Are we really risking hurting people's feelings? You can't legislate that.
He's not wrong, and he's sitting in a chair for once. But I know he's right because I speak from experience. I tried telling one artist what to do, and then she wrote this song. Who needs her? Her CPAP machine was so loud. What? But maybe you have to let life be life.
You have to let life be life. And I'm sorry, I don't think that there's a minority or a majority in the country that has to be catered to like that.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, I'm short, and I don't get mad when I lose roles that were meant to me originally. And I bet you didn't know Laurence Olivier was the last white actor to play Othello, and he did it in blackface.
Laurence Olivier was the last white actor to play Othello in 1965, and he did it in blackface. And he played a black man brilliantly. Am I being told that I will never have a chance to play a black man?
Yes! You will never play a black man. I know it's hard. Try to soothe yourself in that bathtub filled with millions of dollars. Because back then, great white actors taking on black roles was due to a scarcity of black actors, of course. Now you have a plethora of black actors with great dramatic range. But Hollywood doesn't just want to mandate ethnic and gender diversity among actors and crew, but also sexual orientation. As if anyone's been to LA and thought, hey, someone needs to gay this place up. Sorry, for most people in Hollywood, their sexual habits shouldn't mandate jobs. It should mandate community service. And how do you get that info from applicants anyway? You can't just scout out bowling alleys to find lesbians. Not after that court order. But more important, by trade, an actor appropriates other people's lives. That's why it's called acting. You shouldn't have to get a serial killer to play a serial killer. Although that would be a great plot for a movie. Every few days, a crew member is found stabbed to death. You can call it Cut. Sadly, though, you can't even strangle a coworker and say you were method acting. I get it, though. This inclusivity nonsense might sound like a good idea. It's certainly a wonderful virtue signal for Hollywood that temporarily hides the shame of their pervy past. But it shouldn't be mandated. Just think what a movie about Harold Ford Jr. might be like.
He came from Memphis, a man with purpose, poise, and passion. Elected to Congress and loved by all. He became a star on The Five, authoring an epic tale of politics, patriotism, and sex appeal. But this summer, his greatest adventure is yet to come. Fox Entertainment proudly presents the Harold Ford Jr. story, starring Greg Gutfeld as Harold Ford Jr., with a special appearance by a bag of old coins as Jesse Waters.
That'll win an Oscar. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He's known for reaching across the aisle to tickle me on bus rides. Co-host of The Five, Harold Ford Jr. This first-time guest has more offensive lines than the NFL. The comedian and host of the stand-up special Dog Belly on YouTube, Big J. Okerson. His jokes are why his kids tell people their father's dead. Actor, writer, and comedian Jamie Lissow. And you call it an ankle monitor, she calls it a fashion accessory. Fox News contributor Kat Tipp. Somebody get a doctor for that lady. Hey, Harold, you know, I was with him for a while until he said it was offensive to him that he can't play a black person. Is he speaking strictly from being an actor and that, or is he just like missing? How would you feel? How would you feel if he played you in the Harold Ford Jr. story?
I think it'd be great. I think one of the things that he's missing, and I thought Margaret Hoover did a great job with him, is that there are not a lot of stories. There are not a lot of opportunities. He didn't miss out on roles because he didn't get an opportunity to play an African-American character in some story. Mm-hmm. One of the things that's happened in Hollywood, and one of the things that's happened, I think, in all of media, is that you have Margaret Hoover, who's a great interviewer and has a great show.
We get it. You like her, Harold.
Well, our kids are in school together, but she...
I knew it!
But here's the thing. She couldn't have done that show 20, 30, 40 years ago. The thing about Richard Dreyfuss, he's always been on the inside from the standpoint that he at least had the opportunity to compete for roles. And he had the opportunity to compete, I think, for two reasons. One, the stories were written for more stories are written for people like him. And then two, there was some inherent racism. Now, I think his point about mandates and some of the things, some of the inclusivity things have gone too far. And you and I have had that conversation in public and in private as we talk about these things. But I think he needs to be mindful of the fact that the more stories that are written, I actually dream of the day when he gets the nod to play a character that happens to be black.
Would you
and
have
that
been...
other actors who may be white have, because that's when you know that we've reached a point where there's equality in terms of the stories being told and the roles being offered.
You wanted to be a point of equality where the shark would eat black people.
Absolutely.
Because that's the thing with Jaws, is there's no black people being eaten.
Right, and he didn't...
And it was a great white.
Could have been a great story.
They have to redo Jaws. They have to redo Jaws from a black perspective, Jamie. You know, Jamie, you're kind of an underrepresented category. You're kind of a lonely divorced man in Alaska.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's pretty miserable.
I got some roles coming to me. I think you're right.
Yes.
You know what I learned? I learned from Dreyfuss. I learned old people don't give a
Yeah.
Like, when you get a certain age, you just say like whatever you want. And I'm kind of with you. Like, I was with him at first. I do think people, if we have a person available that could play themselves, like, why not do that? Like, you know about me. Everybody knows. Like, I delivered pizzas. Like, I was a pizza delivery guy. And so many times I'm watching a pornographic movie and I'm like, they just threw someone in there, you know, to act. And I think it might be good for, you know, people watching to have a relatable sized penis. It's like,
That's true.
does it always have to look like the boom mic is on screen? But in all seriousness, I think he made some great points at the beginning. And movies are about being immersed in the movie. And have you ever had it where like inclusion, or it takes you out of the movie?
Yeah.
Because you go there doing this. I was watching like there's a movie. This plane was like running out of gas, and the air traffic controller was like a guy with a dress on and a mustache. He was like, "You're getting too close to the plane." And I was like, I don't even care what happens to the plane anymore. I want to know about the disaster that's running air traffic control. I'm like so interested. I don't know. I think it hurts the experience of the movie. You want to like watch the movie. I don't want to think about characters or acting.
Right.
I don't want to even think about the lonely guys around me with their coats over their laps.
Big J, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. You know what's weird? I think like with something like this, it's okay to do diversity because they're not operating on anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not flying planes. But if this bleeds into that, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, it's a weird though, like, yeah, it's not a skills position you have to worry about, but it is strange, like the blackface. Do you remember the Chuck Norris super film Delta Force Part 1?
Yes.
Robert Forster played a Palestinian terrorist, also in blackface.
Yes.
Now, as a Hollywood-adjacent Jew like myself, what are we going to do? Hire an actual Palestinian to do that job?
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying. So I don't know. Anything with the, also, I don't disagree with his points at all. However, maybe he's got to tell like maybe a younger actor to pass these things off. When he was sitting on his back ass on the Bill Maher show, he was making some pretty good points. But by the time, I mean, on the PBS show, he was just get off my lawn energy the whole time.
Yes.
So no one's going to hear the points because it just sounds like a crotchety old man.
Yeah, it's true.
Bitching.
It's true. Why didn't he say this sooner? That's the thing. They'd wait until the career's almost over, Kat, and then suddenly they're speaking their mind.
Yeah.
You know?
By the way, I've been racist this whole time. The ultimate Shyamalan twist.
That's a good idea for a movie. It
Richard
is.
Dreyfuss has been racist this whole time.
Yes. How do you say his last name? Shyamalan? I always screw that up.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. There you go.
I'm guessing.
Yes. So, Kat, what do you make of this diversity, inclusion BS? As you can judge by my question, I think it's BS.
Yeah, I don't understand how it doesn't come up more that some of this seems like it could be a potential HR violation.
Right.
Like the LGBTQ stuff, when exactly does that come up in a job interview?
Right.
Like,
So you like musicals?
so who do you like to bang? Is it guys? Is it girls? You mix in a little bit of both? We need to know because that determines whether or not we hire you.
Yeah.
That's actually what you're asking people to do. I feel like that's pretty invasive and it's under the guise of inclusion, but I feel like I would be pretty uncomfortable in a situation like that, and I think most people would be. So I think it's gone a little bit insane.
Yeah, so you'd have to judge a book by its cover.
Yeah, or like, you look gay. Is that true? Are you gay?
Yes.
If you're going for a job in a movie in Hollywood, I'd say throw on a flannel.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
You're not reading right
Yeah.
now.
Leave a power tool in your purse. Not that kind, Kat. All right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.